Right now we're going to talk about longitude and latitude. So longitude and latitude are created by people. If you were going to take a plane over the earth, you would not see lines crisscrossing each other. It's a grid to make sure you don't get lost. Now, if you've ever used Google Maps or GPS, you're using longitude and latitude. People have taken the measurements of latitude and longitude and made a computer program and have been able to track where we are. So you might not think we use it or we need it, but we actually are using it all the time. Matter of fact, if you have a cell phone, I'm sure that there are capabilities that your phone will give out your latitude and longitude if need be. The Find Your Phone app is using latitude and longitude to make sure you can find your phone. So did you know, what do you know about latitude and longitude? I'm hoping that you've learned a little bit about this before. So latitude, latitude goes across the earth, okay, from east to west, latitude, all right, and then longitude goes north to south. Latitude are called parallels because they never, ever touch. They never crisscross. With longitude, they meet at the North and the South Pole, and they're called meridians. So it's a geographic grid that helps us find our way around the planet. So latitude, the highest measurement is 90 degrees. So if you say I'm 200 degrees latitude, I know you don't know what you're talking about. So the North Pole is 90 degrees north and the South Pole is 90 degrees south. And of course, there are when you actually look at real life latitude, you'll see lots of decimal places and things like that. So we couldn't get to the real tiny amounts of latitude, but they run east to west. The highest amount is going to be 90. All right, with 0 being the equator. All right, and then if a lot of times most likely you'll see latitude being measured in by tens. You can see it a lot less and things like that. So the equator is the central line, is the belt of the planet. Then you have longitude, okay? So they are imaginary lines that run north to south and they meet in the poles. And this helps determine time zones. Okay, not perfectly, because there's some countries like China, for instance, that use their own time zones. But this is much newer. This came out in the 1700s, while latitude has probably been around since at least the 1500s. And I forgot to mention, latitude helps us determine the temperature. So the closer you are to the equator, or the lower the amount of, or the lower number of latitude, the warmer you're more likely to be. And there's several factors like elevation and things like that. And the higher up, the colder your temperature is more likely to be. Okay, there's longitude again. So the prime meridian is the main line. It's 0 degrees longitude. And here are some significant lines. So we have the Tropic of Cancer, that's about 30 degrees north, the equator, and the Tropic of Capricorn. These are major lines of latitude, and they hug what we call the tropics. So the Tropic of Cancer is in the northern hemisphere, and the Tropic of Capricorn is in the southern hemisphere. All right. So we refer to them, especially if we're tracking hurricanes and things like that. And then we also have the Arctic Circle and the Antarctic Circle. So we know if you're in the Arctic and the Antarctic Circle, you're going to have limited amounts of sunlight at half the year because of the tilt of the Earth. And we have lines of longitude here. We have the prime meridian that goes through East Greenwich, England, and then we have western meridians and eastern meridians. That's what we call meridian is another name for lines of longitude. Okay, so hopefully you've learned what latitude is, longitude, the equator, prime meridian, Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, North Pole, and South Pole.